Hello, welcome to a brief tutorial on how to slice jobs with VinylMaster Pro. So I've opened the software and I started out with a blank page. Generally speaking, you always want to start out with a blank page. And I have some DXF files here on the desktop off to the side. To get the DXF files into the software is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to grab the file off the desktop and I'm going to drop it onto the page. And you'll get an option here to convert the DXF file into the software. It's looking for the units, and these jobs I know are in inches, so I'm going to tell it that this DXF file is in inches. There's an option here to connect lines, and what that's going to do is it's going to try and automatically close any open loops that are in your file. So I'm going to make sure that that is selected. I'm going to say OK, and it's going to give me this blue outline of the job. That's where the job will be. And I'm just going to plop it here in the top left corner of the page. And I am going to need to zoom out because it's bigger than my view. So to zoom in and zoom out, we hold down the control button on the keyboard and we roll with the mouse wheel. So I'm rolling out with the mouse wheel so I can see the entire job. Now I'm going to roll in so I can center it up and see what's all in here. So first thing you'll see is we've got some dimensions and stuff in here that are actually in the geometry. Whenever it's always a good idea to try and clean up this, so when we pull it into the template slicer and we go to send it to the cutter, we don't cut these things that we don't want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select some of these items and I'm going to delete them. Now you can select things by just touching on them and then hitting the delete button on your keyboard. You can also select by window. Left click, hold, and drag to create a window, and everything inside the window will be selected, and then you can just hit the delete key to delete these things. If you select a window and it doesn't include the entire piece of geometry, it won't select it. So for instance, here I'm going to select this. See how it didn't select that line because the whole line wasn't in the window. You want to make everything that's in the window will be selected. So we can delete some things like this. We can go in here, delete this, delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that. Possibly you want to keep that center line. I'm going to delete that. Delete that, and this, and this, and that, and that. So this would probably be something that we would want to send to the template software. Delete that, delete that, delete that. Okay, so the entities left are probably the entities that I want to templatize and send to the cutter. So notice that I haven't selected anything. If I select this, then this is all that will be sent to the cutter. If I don't select anything, then everything on the page will be sent to the cutter. So I'm going to go up here to this icon. And if I click on it, I get an option here to go to the vinyl spooler or send to cutter. I'm going to click send to cutter. So on this tab, you can see General, Cutter Control, Settings, and Tiling Panels. I'm going to select Tiling Panels. And then under Tiling Panels, you'll see an option here for Slice Tiles. This is the option we select to slice our artwork. So I'm going to click Slice Tiles, and it's going to pull up this. And this is the slicer, and you'll see all our geometry is in here. I can click Auto, and it's automatically going to slice my geometry up, and it's going to put in cut lines. You can see these blue cut lines here, 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 and here. Those blue cut lines have little key features in them. If you click here under Settings, you'll see we have some options here. Our media width. So our depending on the media width you're using, assuming you're using 30-inch media width, you can't cut the full width of the media. So we're probably going to want to put this at 29 inches. And what that'll do is it'll give us some margin on each side. Strip size of 4 inches. This is the minimum strip that it will make. You can see here it made a pretty thin strip. That's probably about 4 inches. Finger spacing. This is the spacing between the little bumps, the keys that will help key our material together after we cut it out and we tape it back together. Rotation angle. It's using a rotation angle of 45 degrees for 45-degree tilted pieces. And the number of joints. Number joins is what that does is it puts a little number across the joins, so you know that this join goes to this join because it has a little Roman numeral next to both pieces, and you can match the Roman numerals afterwards. And then this allows you to put in a job name. So I'm going to put like job 1. And what that'll do is right by the numbers across the joins, it will put in the text that you put in here for job 1. So I'm going to say Auto again, and you see everything turned green. It shifted my cut lines a little bit because I changed the width to 29 from 30. So that looks pretty good. So it's going to make a cut here, it's going to make a cut there, and then I'm going to have to piece these two pieces together to this, and I'm going to piece this guy to this. This guy will cut all by himself in one shot. So I'm going to say pack when I'm happy with the results. And you can see these are the pieces that it's going to cut. I'm going to say accept. And then what it does is it brings them into the vinyl spooler. And each piece will be a job down here. Now, if I had all those dimensions and stuff that I didn't delete before, those would all show up here as additional jobs. Because I cleaned it up and I only have geometry lines in here, each and every one of these pieces I'm going to need for this job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the Shift key and I'm going to select all these jobs at the same time. Now you see how the software rotated the pieces so they would all fit on the width of material? You see the maximum width is 28.504, so assuming we're cutting on 30-inch wide material, you'll have about 3/4 inch margin on the right and on the left, which is pretty good. So from here, we would click Cut Now, and we would send these to the cutter. So that will do job 1. I'm going to click Done. I'm not going to send them. File, New, Page. So I'm going to start with another page. I'm going to grab job 2 over here, drag and drop him over. He's in inches. Connect the polylines to close the loops. Say OK. Drop him on the page. You can see here, this is a different job. So I am going to, just to show you with all the dimensions and stuff, I'm going to click Send to Cutter. You can see all the dimensions and stuff that show up there. I go to Tiling Panels, Here I can also set the width of my material. I'm going to put in 20, 29. Slice tiles, and you can see here it's got all those little dimensions. I can do an auto slice and it will slice them, but all these little verbiages are going to show up when I send this to the cutter as individual cut jobs, which we probably don't want. So, and you've also got this dimension in here, this dimension in there. You probably don't want that either. I'm going to cancel that. Rolling my mouse wheel and holding the control key to zoom in. I'm going to do some quick cleanup here, just like I did before. Rolling the mouse wheel and holding control to zoom in and zoom out. See this dimension in here? Probably don't want that. You don't want that little line there. Now you might want that center line as a reference. This center line right here. So when you're laying the job on, you know where center is. So I can see that might be useful. We'll leave him in there. You can select windows either way, from right to left or left to right. Okay, so a minute or so and we've got a nice clean job. Pull down, send to cutter. Going to tiling panels. I'm going to set my width at 29 inches so I have some margin on each side. Slice tiles. You'll see it comes in with the tile, with the pieces to be tiled. I'm going to hit the auto button and you'll see it can cut this in one, cut that in one, and it'll strip this into 4 pieces that I will have to connect here, here, and here. I'm going to say pack. I'm going to say accept. And now I've got these jobs lined up in my vinyl spooler. I'm going to select all the jobs holding the shift key. So there's the first one. Hold the shift key, select the last one, and it will select all of them in between. Lays them all out on the material. And I'm ready to set these to the cutter. Cut now, and they will go. Going to click done and move on to a new sheet. And I'm going to grab my third job here, job 3. Drag him onto the page, inches, connect lines, and drop him on there. He's got a lot to cut here. So I'm going to do some quick cleanup here. Probably don't want that dimension on the inside of the material there. That blue center line, that might be useful. We'll keep him. Rolling the mouse wheel, holding down control to zoom in and zoom out. Now what is this little line here? Probably don't need that. If you needed it, you could have left it and it would have put that in the artwork. Center line, we'll keep center line. Okay, so nice and clean. I'm going to send to the cutter. I'm going to go to tiling panels, put in my width of 29 inches, slice tiles. I'm going to hit the auto. Gets these three in one. This one will have to be chopped into two. This one will be chopped into 3 pieces. This one will be chopped into 2 pieces. I forgot last time, but here we can go and call this job 3. So we have that text there. Just so you can see, I'm going to zoom up on this. So I'm zoomed in. This is the split line. You can see the key features it's putting in. So it will cut this like this so you can tab these into place. You can see the mark it made. So this mark goes across from that mark, and you can see job 3, and it uses job 3 on all of these across the seams. So it says job 3 there, and it will say job 3 over here across this line as well. You could see this is a different marking because it's a different split line, but you can see it has job 3 and job 3. So it'll have job 3 across all the split lines. I'm going to say auto, pack, packs them out, accept. It brings them into the spooler as all these jobs. I'm going to select the first, hold the shift key, select the last. That grabs them all. It lays them all out on this material. And then you would be able to hit the cut now button and it will send them to the cutter. So that completes our brief tutorial on the slicer. If you have any questions or need support, please contact us. Thank you.